65, Adams Bookstore is by far South Africa's oldest standing bookstore that will offer you anything from fiction to non-fiction, religion, sports, music, you name it, they've got it. Today we have the opportunity to open the CW Sector News Book Culture sector specifically with an interview and an up-close and personal with Mr. Peter Adams, who is the 5th generation director. Welcome, Mr. Peter Adams. Thank you for having us here today and helping us open this wonderful segment or news reading sector of ours that we call Book Culture. We will be regular, or rather in your store, reviewing many different books with you and encouraging a book culture, a well-needed book culture. So I took the interest to pick just 3 books and sort of rather diverse from the other. We've got religion on the other hand, and we've got one here that makes quite a good read, but really very political type. And of course, wow, we've got Joyce Meyer twice. So I guess I'm a lucky hand for Joyce Meyer. And that's the religion section of things at Adams. Tell us, which book would you like us to review today? Pick one that you have read from the 3 and tell us about its stats currently. How popular is it, and what does that tell you about the book reading culture in our country currently?
Well, I see you chose The President's Keepers, and this book has been an absolute phenomenon. It's been the best-selling book in South Africa for the past 10 years. No book has sold more. It came onto
a decade?
Indeed, it came onto the market just before Christmas, and because of the enormous interest in political revelations which it makes, it's every person interested in the way our country is going seems to have wanted to read it. In fact, many of them were sent out as digital copies, quite illegally, and the author said, if you can't afford the book, read the digital, but if you can, support this, because he was threatened with court actions, and it was indeed brave of him to reveal all that he discovered during his researches.
Brave indeed. What sort of age group seems to be going for this? Just trying to figure out as to the hunger for South Africans to understand what is going on. Certainly, this has been by far the most controversial president in the country today, and therefore, I think who doesn't know the President Jacob Zuma? Even children do. But I think it would be very interesting to people at home to say that if it's been the biggest seller in the last 10 years, what kind of age group are you getting that's purchasing this book?
We found it's young. This book is sold to young and old. I think people with a real interest in politics, but also businessmen, because many people feel that what the book reveals is the conspiracy which exists between various players in our political field. So politicians, businessmen, everybody should be interested in it. I think quite a lot of the information had come out before, not all of it. And what du Preez has succeeded in doing, what Max du Preez has succeeded in doing, is he's succeeded in bringing it together so that it makes sense. And what were suspicions are now becoming proven facts. And I think a lot of the information which he gives here will come out during the Commission of Inquiry, which we're all going to be watching with great interest in the next few months.
So it's the bad, the dirty, and the ugly. It's all in one book.
Indeed.
Awesome. So did you read the book?
I did, yes.
What's your favorite chapter? Or which chapter did you find yourself engulfed in?
I enjoyed the early parts of the book. But it's somehow what I enjoyed most was the way he tied things together. So you'll have political figure here, a political figure there, and people being placed in positions in order to carry out some of the controversial acts which du Preez describes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think being an ambassador of the book as a store, you've certainly done it justice today. Come and get this book at Adams bookstores nationwide. Get yourself a copy. It's a must read. If you want to know what your president has been up to during his term, you will find it all in this book. And have your voice. Send it on CWTV. And we certainly are going to be having the writer on one of our talk shows very soon in the studio right here in Durban. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Adams. So tell us, how much is this book? So as to ensure that for some of us who may not afford quite as much and need to budget for every single penny, you want to know how much you will need to budget in order to own this wonderful book. How much would it
I
be?
think it's 280 rand. I should check that. Indeed. That's what.
It's worth every word. Certainly do get yourself out there and come into Adams bookstores and get many other inspirational books and informative book. Your leader in bookstores. I'm Cassia Kulu. Until next time on Book Culture, keep reading. Bye.